Open your book to page 460. Today's lesson is on how to simplify square roots. So let's go to example 1 on page 460. Example 1a, you have the square of 25 to the square. So what you need to realize is that the square and square root, they are inverse function of each other. They have an opposite effect, so they cancel out. So the square and square root, they cancel out effect of each other. So the answer would be just 25. Right? The square and square root cancel out. Okay, again, super easy, right? We did this before, right? So let's go to B. Again, same thing. Square root of 16 square. So square and square root cancel out. So again, the answer is 16. Okay. Now let's go to example 3. So again, all these are review stuff. Okay, you already learned all this from before. So you have the 5 square. You got x squared y to the 4. Okay? So when you have multiple factors, you just do one at a time, right? So all you do is look at this one over here. So square root of 5 square, again the square and square root cancel out. So from here, the square and square root cancel out, so you end up with a 5, right? So that takes care of the number. You go down to the next one, the square and square root cancel out, so you're going to get x, right? So from here you get x. Now this one over here, y to the 4. Now square root, there's an invisible 2 over here, right? Square root. So you just divide, right? So again, we did this from chapter 2, right? So 4 divided by 2, you get 2, so it becomes y squared. Okay? So you just go down each item, and that's your answer. Okay? So B and C are the same. Now let's go to example 4. A. So you got square root of x to the 7. Okay, now this one does not divide exactly. So what you need to do is you need to separate into 2 parts. Okay, separate into a good part and the junk part. So what you want to do is separate this into x to the 6 and x to the 1. Right? So 7 is separated into 6 and the 1. So this will come out nicely. This becomes x to the 3. Again, once you divide, the square is gone already. So don't keep hanging on to the square root. And this one would be just x, right? The square root of x. And that's your answer. Right? So you can separate into 2 parts. Okay, the part that is going to work out nicely and the leftover part. Okay, so let's go and do part B. So you got square root of 12, x to the 4, y to the 3. So now you have to do each part individually, right? So square root of 12, it doesn't come out nicely. So you go to the side and you do the factoring, right? So 12 is divisible by 2, so divide by 2, you get 6. Divide by 2, you get 3, right? Now the square root means you need to get 2 of the same number to make an integer, right? So you need to have 2 of the same radicand. These are called radicands. So you need 2 radicands, so this will make a 2, and the leftover will stay inside. So square root of 12 becomes 2 square root of 3. Okay, this one over here, this is going to give you x squared. This one over here, again, you can break into y squared and y, right? If it doesn't come out nicely, and then you can just go ahead and, so this becomes 2 square root of 3, x squared, y, square root of y, right? So basically just figure out what will work out nicely and what's left over. Then you have to rewrite this a better way. So you're going to get 2x squared y, and these are same kind. These are radicand, so you can put them together. Okay, so this is integer, variable, radicands. Okay, so there are 3 different kinds of items. And so that would be your answer. Okay, so again, if it doesn't come out nicely, you have to separate into a nice part and a leftover part. And this one, if it does not come out nicely, you have to go to the side and you work it out. Okay, now let's go to C. You have square root of 24, a to the 5, b to the 7. Okay, so again, I'm going to factor the 24. So divide by 2, I get 12. Divide by 2, I get 6. Divide by 2, I get 3. So this will come out nicely, right? 2 radicand will make 1 integer. So this will give me a 2. These are left over. So it will be square root of 6. Okay, this one over here, I'm going to separate into a to the 4 and a to the 1. This one over here, I'm going to separate into b to the 6 and b to the 1. Okay, so now this will become, this will come out nice, right? So I get 2. So this one would be a squared, and this would be b to the 3, right? So you can separate into two parts, the nice part and the junky part. And all these are, now you have the rest of them, right? So it becomes square root of 6ab, right? 6ab. So you need to separate into the good part and the junk part. And that's what you get. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay, so let's go and do some practice. So get the paper and write down all this information on upper right hand corner.